All right, today my guest is Lindsay Whitney.
Hello.
She is the leader of the Whitney team. How long have we known each other?
Oh, it's been a while. We met, I was showing one of your properties, and I told you that a gator chased us, and and you lost it.
I did, yeah. I'm like, did he catch you? Yeah.
It's been a while. I think it's been 5 or 6 years, maybe 7.
Yeah, it's been a while. And prior to coming over to work with us, because Lindsay has a team within the Carpenter Kessel team.
Oh.
So prior to coming over, tell us a little about your background. So where did you come from? What did you do? Give me a little bit of history so the audience knows who you are.
So I actually came out of the restaurant industry. I spent 15 years in the restaurant in all aspects.
That certainly helps in the real estate, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Not.
Just a little. Well, it helps you learn how to talk to people.
Okay.
So that's where it helps. Because it was natural for me to talk to strangers because that's what I did on a daily basis. And then I worked my way up through management. So when I left, I was a general manager of a fast casual restaurant.
Okay.
But then I had kids, and the restaurant business is not conducive to a family.
No.
So when I realized that, 1, daycare was raising my son, and 2, when I had my second son, I was basically working to pay for daycare. So it just didn't make sense to work anymore. So I stayed home until they went back into school, and that's when I got into real estate.
And how long have you been in real estate?
10 years. This is my 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. How many companies have you worked for
3.
in your
I
total
say that
career?
with hesitation because technically I started with a company that I was with for like 2 months before I realized they were crazy. So I don't really count that.
Okay. All right.
So,
And then how long have you been with us at Compass?
since September of 21. So
So a year and a half.
yeah.
And tell them a little about your production. What was your production like when you left your previous company?
Okay.
And tell them where your production is now. So what I want to know is if you know the unit numbers and the dollar volume.
So when I left my previous company, I was struggling to get to $10 million that year. Matter of fact, when I had first met with you and Dwayne was like, I don't think you're going to hit your goal this year.
Negative, Nelly. Negative.
I got it in at like the last week of the year. I just like got it like 10.1.
Yeah. Good.
So I honestly don't remember what my unit numbers were that year. I just know I just barely hit 10 million. And then my first full year of being with you guys, the MLS had me just over 20.
So you doubled your production in 1 year.
Doubled my production, yep. And with what we did off market was about another 5, so 25 on and off the market.
So 1.5 times.
Yeah.
Wow. And tell us, tell the audience what was your biggest sale you did last year? Because you did one big one.
I did do a big one. As I was told, I sold half of Fellsmere. So it was just under $3 million. It was 2.9 for a piece of land over in Fellsmere. It was a couple 100 acres.
Wow.
So it was a fun project, though.
Yeah. Now you just sold another big one, that one in Kirby.
Yep. So that was this year, technically.
Yeah, okay,
We went under contract last year, but we closed that one in February. So, and that was it's just over $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. So for context, you're doing a lot of residential and you're dabbling in commercial, trying to figure out which direction you want to go in. Is that still true or not?
Yeah, so I like commercial, specifically industrial commercial. I've just spent so much blood, sweat, and tears in residential that I'm not willing to walk away from it to do commercial solely at this point. So, the long-term plan is to build a team of residential agents around me.
Okay.
And then once I've got a team that's, helping me, I don't know if I'll ever fully walk away from my sphere of influence. But as far as, just random leads coming in and the Zillow calls and the listing calls and all of that, I'll have a team to take care of that. So it's not me day in and day out. So I can do some commercial. I just really like it. I've got a knack for it.
You do.
I can look at an area and say, hey, it needs this.
We can do this and this and this. Exactly. When you came over to work with us on the Carpenter Kessel team, did you have a team?
Barely.
Yeah. We had to resuscitate them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we just dissolved it.
Yeah. So you dissolved that team.
Yeah.
You've got a team now. Tell us about the team now. What do you have?
Yeah. So I say dissolved it. I had an incredible buyer's agent. It was really hard to leave her, but outside.
If she didn't come.
She didn't come. Oh. And it was funny because she was kind of starting to grow a heart for being an individual agent. And I was, had no intentions of leaving my current brokerage, knew I was struggling, knew I had to do something, but kind of thought that I was going to have to do it on my own and figure it out. Until we ran into each other and, had that conversation. But, so I don't want to discredit her. She was amazing. It was just getting the administrative help was the hard part to building a team. So right now I've got a personal assistant that helps Harvey and I, cause we've got a lot going on. And, then I've got a buyer's agent and just am in the process of signing on another buyer's agent.
So you'll have 2 buyer agents.
Yeah.
Will they also do listings?
The one that I'm bringing on is going to also do listings.
Okay.
Maddie is currently working primarily with buyers.
Okay.
She did just close on a listing a couple weeks ago. So it's not that she's not going to do them. It's just not really her focus right now.
Okay. And what is your vision to do with the team? Let's just say this year. What's the vision?
So our goal is 30 million.
Okay.
So last year, which, now that when I did my business plan for 2023, I thought I might want to bring on another agent, but didn't have that solidified. So now that I have, I might modify that and jump it up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That was my next question.
I was waiting for that conversation.
Are we going to change that goal? I'm ready. I'm ready.
We might stretch it to 35.
Okay. Which when we met that person this morning, we talked that the realistic goal for her is $5 million. So yeah, I think that's fair because it keeps you pushing forward.
Yep.
And as you know, we still do our quarterly meetings. So if you get behind, we're encouraging you. We're trying to help you to grow your business. You mentioned Harvey. Tell the audience about Harvey.
So Harvey is my husband.
We love Harvey.
Yep. We're one of those unique kind of couples that can work together and live together and not kill each other. And he's really the backbone of the Whitney team. You don't see him a lot. You don't hear from him a lot.
I hear from him.
Well, you do.
Oh,
Yes. You're the exception.
Yes.
But the team doesn't hear from him a lot or see him a lot. He's not in the coaching calls like I am. But he helps run a lot of the stuff in the background that, one, I either don't have time for, or 2, he's just better at than I am.
But full time.
He's full time.
But he's full time buying properties, flipping properties. I mean, do you know how many properties he did last year? He told me. I can't remember. It was a lot.
So it was his first year in real estate. He retired from the police department in November of 21. So his first year of real estate, he flipped 6 homes. Right now, he's got 3 that he's working on, and he's got 2 separate properties that he's doing the project management for, and then he's got a RV and boat storage property that he's working on, and then you guys have your deal that you're working on.
Yeah, so we have another deal where he's getting ready to build probably 24 townhouses.
Yep.
So he's got a lot on his. I mean, a year and a half, barely out of the police department.
Yep.
And his plate is extremely full.
It is, and I'm really proud of him. I mean, I had no doubt. He's incredibly intelligent. He's shy, so people don't really. It takes a minute to get to
Harvey?
Well, people just think that he's a jerk, to be honest.
Well,
he comes across very
he
harsh.
He studies everybody. That's why.
He does.
He studies everybody. So I always ask him, Harvey, quit overanalyzing me. Stop.
Well, he's 3rd generation law enforcement. So, I mean, he was raised in it deep.
And what, 20 years in the business?
20 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's
21, 22, something like that.
It's a long time. So my point is he analyzes. Kids? No kids?
So we have 3 kids and
teenagers.
Yes, they're all officially teenagers.
Today.
Today. My youngest just turned 13, so I officially have no babies left.
Oh boy. But you got 2 puppies coming.
We do have 2 puppies coming. So that'll be interesting. I haven't had a puppy since I was in grade school.
Yeah, wait. It'll be interesting.
I
all right.
prefer them to come fully trained.
Good luck.
But no, we've got 3 teenagers. They're all involved in sports. My daughter's a competitive dancer, which that's a great schedule to manage, especially during competition season. And then my boys, Carson he was doing crew for a little bit. Right now he's doing basketball. And then Brendan's doing a lot more focused on basketball.
Okay.
So when all 3 are in season, it's a very fun schedule to manage.
And so tell the audience, you're at these events. I know you are because I call you and
100%.
you're when your daughter's dancing, you're out of town, out of the country. I mean, out of state sometimes.
Yep.
I mean, so tell us what like an average day would look like for you. I mean, you've got dance, you've got this. We also want to talk about You're now leading, I want to say a women's Bible study.
Yep.
So you're very involved in not only your church. I know you and Harvey are both involved in your church, but you're super involved in this. Is it a monthly? What you just changed?
Yeah.
It.
So I teach it in two ways. It's actually a book that I wrote, and it's geared towards business women. It's just a lot of the lessons and success habits that I've learned in business. But in talking to women, I started to realize that a lot of women are so caught up in the day-to-day and just trying to survive and manage their schedules, especially working moms, that they lose sight of their vision or they don't have a vision. So it's really focusing on bringing clarity to what your vision is and then just the habits to work towards it and bring it into fruition. And then as far as the day-to-day, it's,
because it's what you're teaching. It's really what you're teaching.
It is what I'm teaching. And what brought my attention to the fact that I was good at being busy was that people would just constantly be like, you have so much on your plate. I don't know how you manage it. And I was like, well, I just wake up and know it needs to be done. I don't understand what you mean. They're like, no, like I could not live that life. And I'm just like, oh, well, it's just the life that I live.
It's how you are. Yeah.
So, but it does take a lot of management. I love time blocking. I know it sounds like a very basic skill, but it's a skill that, a lot of people don't use necessarily. And if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be able to manage it.
You taught that recently at one of our offices.
I did. Mm-hmm. And for me, time blocking doesn't just mean blocking when I'm doing what. It's like my schedule is blocked years in advance. So like right now, I know that right now what's working best for the season that I'm in with my kids is for me to do my appointments with the buyers and sellers that I work with on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So those blocks of time that I have available are already in my calendar. So if Maddie or my assistant or anybody else on the team is trying to schedule an appointment for me, or even myself, because when you talk to people, it's hard to go through your schedule and figure out when you have time. All I have to do is look for the dark green block on my calendar to tell me like, oh, well, I have Tuesday at 2 available.
and it's already there.
And it's already there. Yeah.
Do you block out your vacations?
I do. Yep.
And when you're gone now, you have a team that does help. You're still making phone calls. I know when you're gone, I'm still talking to you.
Yep.
I don't know that you're on.
Right.
I mean,
and that's the goal is, to have, and honestly, you kind of taught me that because I never knew that you were gone when you were gone. But the goal is to go on vacation and be able to relax and have fun and not be on my phone on a regular basis. But I do get up in the morning, make sure that everything's going smooth in my emails, make sure I don't have any text messages that I need to follow up with or that somebody else needs to follow up with. But if it's something that it doesn't have to be me, then our assistant takes care of it. And for spring break, we went to Charleston, and outside of just having to take care of a few things for a contract that we were closing as soon as we got back, the team took care of everything. I really didn't have to do much. It was great.
Yeah. So you got a super busy husband, you're super busy, and you got 3 teenage kids that are equally as busy.
Yep.
If you had to give, 2 pieces of advice to the listeners, what would that be?
It's priorities.
Okay.
So, and that's what we teach our kid. It's all about priorities. For us, it's God, family, work, and then all the minutia after that. But, our faith is important to us. So that's always takes precedence. And then our family, and then our work. I will say that when I'm working with buyers and sellers, I do have a conversation setting the expectation of when I'm available and when I'm not.
Okay.
And it sounds something like, hey, you're super important to me. I just want to let you know that my commitment to my family is that my phone goes on Do Not Disturb at 8:00. It's automatic. I don't do it. But if I'm sitting down watching TV because I have a minute and you text me and I see it, I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
But if I don't, I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll have whatever it is answered by 8. The caveat to that is that, especially working with buyers, they're searching properties and looking at Zillow and, our
at
app.
10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And I'm already in bed. And so I tell them, I was like, if you have a question or you can't sleep over something, shoot me a text because I'm not going to hear it. And then I'll know that that's what's on your mind. You know that you've let me know about it so you can sleep sound and not worry about forgetting to get with me. And so it works for everybody. I've never had anybody that didn't respect that.
Wow. And so now when you were at your previous company, I'm going to digress for a second. Were you on a team there or were you you had your team?
So I started my career on a team.
Okay.
Kind of. So I had me and a guy that I worked with. We worked really well together. And honestly, if the two of us went on a listing appointment, we didn't leave without a signed listing agreement.
Wow.
We just worked well together. We compensated where one had weaknesses, the other one had strengths. And then I just got to a point where I didn't feel like it was a fit for me anymore.
Okay.
It kind of took me by surprise because I never saw myself leaving that team. But I just had some personal things going on. The team was making some moves and some decisions that just weren't what I was looking for. So, and that's pretty much what it boiled down to.
So now fast forward where you are now, you're on a team and you have a team.
Yep.
How valuable do you think it is to be on a team?
Incredibly valuable. Okay. I mean, when I left my original team, I was an individual agent for a little while. I enjoyed the break of not having the accountability and I was in a leadership position on that team. So I enjoyed the break of not having to lead. But it didn't take very long for me to want to have a team again. And when I say that, I've never had a vision of growing a giant team. Like you guys have a huge team. That's never been my vision. It's always been to have a couple of people that just work really well together. We have good culture together. And most importantly, we have fun together. This is a stressful industry. So you got to work with people that you have fun with.
Yeah.
But what's most important to me is customer service. And I felt like because I was having such a hard time finding good administrative help, that one, understood the real estate industry and had the experience in it, and two, that as an individual agent, I could afford. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that as an individual agent, to find good help, you just aren't making the money to pay for it.
Correct.
And that's what attracted me to you guys. You guys had the systems that I wanted. Our vision for what we were doing on our teams and our business aligned. Customer service was one of the most important things to me. Part of being in the restaurant industry was customer service. So that was my jive. And you guys, your vision for what you guys were building with Carpenter Kessel aligned with my vision for what I wanted. And it made sense.
We had to work on Harvey. Do you remember that?
We did have
Harvey
to
was like,
twice.
I don't know. I'm like, what?
If I hadn't listened to Harvey the first time, I'd be like a $60 million, $70 million producer right now.
It's Harvey. Well, Harvey's good in his lane. And he's very good. You're very good in your lane. And that's, we all have to stay in our lane.
Yeah.
And that goes back to a single agent versus a team.
Right.
A single agent can't do everything. Earlier I was talking to somebody, 41 years ago, we had an MLS book. We had, and that's when I started in 1982. Mm-hmm. So, we had an MLS book. We had dot matrix printers. We didn't have the MLS in our offices or our house. We had to go to the board and wait till you could get on one of their computers there.
Yeah.
So it's changed. We had payphones back then. So now you have all this technology. You have all the social media, which again, we talked about that earlier on somebody. The social media has changed everything we do. Real estate agents now, like us, we're starting media companies. Yeah. Who would ever think a real estate person would have a media company?
Right.
But in order to build what we want, the goals that we want for in Brevard County, we've got to continue to build, and we've got to have talented people like you, and like that young lady that we met with today, and continue to grow your team.
Right.
Well, how advantageous is it? Like, I know for me, I already know this answer, I'm leading you. How advantageous is it to have the team if you want to be gone?
Oh, incredibly, because I can be gone.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you miss a call or there's a, closing day emergency and honestly, in a buyer and seller's mind, they've got so much stress going on trying to move that everything's an emergency.
Everything.
We do it on a day-to-day basis. So to us, it's like, that's no big deal. But to them, this is like the biggest transaction of their life. So if they can't get a hold of their agent, that's stressful, and if they don't have direction on what to do or how to handle something, and God forbid they go buy a car.
Yeah.
if they're buying
throw
a house.
off the ratios. It's like, holy cow. Yeah, exactly.
So, as an individual agent, you have to be available. I remember even on previous teams, I did not have it to where I couldn't just walk away. There was one vacation that I was able to walk away for a week, and it took me weeks to get set up for it. I still came back and had some things that I had to deal with, but literally I was 8.5 years into it before I joined you guys. So no vacations for 8.5 years, or no uninterrupted vacations for 8.5 years.
So what we're telling the public out there is, if you're going to interview an agent, you definitely want to talk to somebody that's on at least a small team, if not a large team.
Yeah.
Let's talk about when you moved over, Compass. Why Compass? Has it been good for you? Tell the reasons why, because I know the reasons. I want to hear what you have to say about Compass.
So in all honesty, when I made the move over, Compass wasn't my focus. I was actually pleasantly surprised by what they had to offer, because I was moving to Compass to join you guys. And so I honestly didn't do that much research into Compass, but when I joined over and I saw what they had available and in technology and the things that I could do and how it streamlined my business, I was able to cancel a lot of subscriptions on things that I was paying for. I was blown away. I mean, I do monthly mailers to my past clients, and it's just simple stuff like monthly maintenance tips, stuff that's helpful. It's not like, hey, I want to sell your house stuff. But it was so, I mean, we were having to create them in Canva, print and ship them to us, and then label them and then send them off to be mailed. I mean, it was a process. And when I first joined you guys, I was doing this, and Harvey's like, what are you doing? Like, it is not worth taking like a full day to get this taken care of. And I was like, I know, but there's not a better way to do it. Not at a reasonable price. I mean, if I wanted to spend a ton of money having somebody else print and mail them, I could have done it, but it was unreasonable to me. So for what I can do through the Compass back office, and I mean, they've got their Canva dupe is like what I call it. And then just send it to Express Docs. I upload my CSV file of addresses, and it's done in like 20 minutes.
Wow. No, that's exciting.
And it saves me like $250 a mailing.
Wow. Let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about social media. What do you think about social media?
I think if I wasn't in real estate, I wouldn't have it.
Exactly.
But I know it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the fact that it helps us get the information out there, because it's so much easier to cast a larger net with social media than it is doing mailers or, door knocking or all the other things. So we can reach thousands instead of a couple hundred.
A few hundred, correct.
Yeah. So I do appreciate it for that aspect. It's not something that I've ever naturally been good at, which is one of the reasons we brought Maddie on the team. She's great at it. She's got a lot of good content ideas. So she's been helping me with that. And then just the coaching that you guys provide has helped tremendously with that. Just like
let's talk about the coaching. Yeah, tell about coaching. Why has that helped?
So, one, coaching is expensive, and it was something I always invested in. But it was nice to take that off of my budget and take that line item out.
You had a coach.
I did have a coach. Yep, I had a coach. We met every week, and
a local coach.
No, I was coaching through the Tom Ferry. So I had actually tried a program prior to that. I'd always been in the Tom Ferry ecosystem, switched and went to another company, and then didn't like it and came back to Tom Ferry.
Which is who we all use. Yeah, we all use Tom.
Yeah. And honestly, I think he is one of the best out there. So
I think he's the best.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, he is the best. There is I think he is. But so yeah, I had switched back. I was just getting in the groove with a new coach, and we were working on social media because it was one of my downfalls. But when I came over, you guys had Jason Pantana. The resources that you guys have through coaching was just unbelievable. And it was nice because I actually won one of the competitions, one of the few times I've beat Shane, but I
love
did.
I love it.
It's probably the month that I sold half of Ellesmere. So I was able to do that one-on-one call with Jason, and just to be able to dive through my social media accounts and him say, okay, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, try this, has been incredibly helpful. So, and just the how-to that we get on it, because I'm like a 40-something. I never thought I'd be that chick that was like, listen, I don't know how to do this, but I really kind of am right now.
That's me.
So I either tell my kids or Maddie, I'm like, listen, just get it to this point, and then I can do it from there.
I tell my kids, hey, I can't figure this out. They're like, Dad, really? So and then our TV did the same thing the other day. I reset the whole thing, factory set. They're like, what happened to the TV? I'm like, well, I couldn't get it to work. I reset the entire TV. They were so mad, but it's one of those deals where I'm not tech savvy. I need to have like a tech person live at my house and get my computer going. Thank God for Katie and Leslie and Milena. Yeah. Everybody gets their stuff going. Let's talk about rates. let's talk about the market. Tell me what do you think? Rates are at 6.5 right now. We're running 2,000 active listings in the county, up or down from where we were pre-COVID?
So pre-COVID, I think we're down still.
Yeah, we were at 3,300 if you remember.
Yeah.
So right before COVID, we were at 3,300. We dropped as low as 700 during COVID, which is when we were getting 20 offers on a house.
Yep.
And then now we're back up to 2,000. But I think in January, we were less than 3 months ago, we were at 2,400. So the inventory is shrinking again. Do you think it's because people are just getting used to the 6.5% rate? What do you think it is? Is it summer market?
I mean, I do think the rate has something to do with it because it chips into the affordability. So, if you're making a local move and you have a 3% mortgage rate on your current house, you're going to have to really want to move to get rid of that. So I think that that's some of it for the local people that are just, doing a lateral move. They're not upsizing, they're not downsizing, just might want something newer or redone or whatever. So I think that incentivizes them to stay where they're at and just remodel. But the people that have the need to move, obviously that's, they're just going to get stuck with the rate.
They have to.
But what I tell all of the buyers that I'm working with right now is like 6.5% seems high because we've been in that 3 to 4% for so long, longer than what I think any of us anticipated staying there. But, in the grand scheme of economics, 6.5% is normal. I mean, my first mortgage, I was at 8%.
I was at 18.
Well,
that was back in 81, 82, 83.
Exactly.
I mean, it was high.
Well, and that's why I tell people is, I understand that 6.5 feels high, but like nobody has a crystal ball. We don't know where the market's going with the trajectory of the current economy. So, God forbid rates do jump up to 8, 10, 12, 18%. 6.5% doesn't seem so bad. But, if things go our way and they drop back down, then you can refinance.
So speaking of crystal balls, what do you think is going to happen over the next 2 or 3 years? Tell me what your crystal ball says.
So I think that prices are going to stay stable. I think they're going to continue
stable, or
no, I think they're going to appreciate, and that's what I was about to say. I think that we're still going to see appreciation, just not at the rate that we did during COVID.
Okay.
So I think especially Brevard County, because we've got so much going on here. There's so many people moving into the area. We've got so many, I think probably 50% of the buyers that I'm working with right now are out of town buyers moving into the area because of work.
Okay.
So,
that's a lot. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of out of town buyers right now, more than I normally do. So, I think that things are going to continue to appreciate. I think the rates are going to start to level out. We're coming up on an election year. So I think regardless of who's in office, everybody wants the economy and the market to look good.
Always.
For the election year. So I think, next year we're going to see that 5 to 6 kind of hold steady. And then I honestly I don't like to talk politics, but I think it's just going to depend on who gets in office, what happens next.
Yeah. I mean, the Feds did exactly what they said, which I didn't think they would really do it, but raise. Yep. It's right. I read a stat from Compass that said, what did it say? 63% of the of people that live in the United States that have a first mortgage, it's under 3.99%. 63%.
Yeah.
37% own their houses free and clear, which I did not realize. So that was an interesting stat. And they said 4% are over 6%.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's a small percentage of people that are moving. And like you said, if you have a 2.5% mortgage, even if you hate your house, you're probably going to stay because unless you're going to pay cash or down, or you're going to, go smaller or less. But we were seeing, I don't know what you're seeing now, but we were seeing people keep buying bigger and bigger. We went from, we couldn't sell the McMansions to everybody wanted one because they were all staying home and homeschooling and they were working out of their houses. And so we saw the big houses come back into favor again because we couldn't sell those for a while.
Right.
I mean, what are you seeing now in the market? Let's talk two things. What's your average price point, and what are you seeing? What are you seeing moving in this market?
So right now, my average price point is in the 420s to 450s.
Okay.
And what I'm seeing moving are houses that look nice. And that's the thing, is that even though we have an uptick in inventory compared to the COVID days, most of what's on the market is not nice.
Meaning it needs a facelift?
Yeah, it needs a facelift. It needs an overhaul. And there's not a lot of inventory that is 100% move-in ready. And there's not a lot of new construction to revert back to when the resales are just needing overhauls. So when I'm working with sellers, the advice that I give them, I kind of give them a list and say, if you do everything on this list, your home's going to sell. Like, there's no question about it. It's going to look like a model home. If you do half of it, it's still going to look better than 80% of what's on the market right now. Just because there's just a lot of homes that need some updating.
Will people pay a premium for a really nice house? So if you had two houses next to each other, but one had been totally updated and the other one was just original, will they pay a premium?
I think so. I think they will within reason. So when you say a premium, I think, the buyer's mindset still has COVID days on our brain. So I think within reason they will. I've got some buyers that, we've just been in overpriced listings and they're not willing to pay what the seller is asking for in this market. So I think within reason, are the sellers going to get out of it what they've put into it? I think so.
Yeah. And so what Dwayne and I are seeing a lot of is people are doing total remodels. So even the condos, because we have a lot of 40-year-old condos. So they're gutting them down to the studs. I mean, the one that we sold in Surfrider, she moved closets. She actually moved interior walls, redid the fire sprinklers. She got a premium. She got a 10% premium on that one.
Yeah.
So we are seeing people pay, I think, for the really nice stuff. It's not a little bit of lipstick. I mean, she was floor to the ceiling, and she did a beautiful job. So, I mean, I think you will get a premium. She got all of her money back, but again, she spent 12 months of her life, living in the construction zone.
Yeah.
Because she lived there. She finally moved out. It got to be such a mess. But the point being is I think they will pay a premium for nice stuff.
Yeah.
So thus the reason.
Especially in that price range too.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason Harvey's going in and buying these houses, fixing them up, because people will pay for a nice house.
Yeah.
Last question. What advice would you give to a new agent starting in the business?
You got to have grit. I mean, I think the false expectations that a lot of agents have coming into the business is that it's easy. And while the process is simple, it's not easy. So walking somebody through the process is a simple process once you learn it, but the getting from, finding that buyer, that seller to closing is, you got to have grit, because there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of understanding how to have a conversation with somebody. I don't know if you know this, but I wrote 34 offers before I got my first contract.
No, I did not know that.
I did, because I started in the foreclosure frenzy. So I would unclick that foreclosure spot on the back end of the MLS, and it would take away like over 50% of the inventory.
Wow.
I did. I wrote 34 offers before I got my first contract, and the contract that I wrote was $79,000. But to me, back then, my husband was law enforcement. He was on the road, so he was making like $38,000 a year. We had 3 kids. My check after my broker splits was like $1,300. But for me, I was like, I could do that again.
And again, and again, and again.
Right. So I think you just have to have grit. Had I quit after 10 offers, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
That's true.
And I was on the verge of quitting. I was very frustrated. But I knew that I got into real estate. It's not this giant passion that I had. I love old houses. I wish walls could talk, but I didn't have this huge passion for real estate. I got into it because I was a mom of 3 kids and I needed the biggest return on my time. So I needed to know that if I was going to leave my kids, that I was going to leave and get the best return on my time that I could find.
Great answer.
And sales is a great way to do that. And what better way to do sales than real estate, because you're dealing with big sales.
And something you really enjoy.
And I do love houses. I really do. We had a bad experience moving into Brevard County with an agent. And so with my customer service background, my whole train of thought coming into this industry was, if I could just take a little piece of the customer service that I know how to do and put it into this industry, I could make a lot of money, because there was none. So to the new agent, I would just say it takes grit. Just don't give up. It's going to be hard. Your family's going to work with somebody else. Mine did. My sister didn't want my help or advice until things went wrong when she sold her house. And that wasn't even me personally working for it. I just offered to help her find a referral agent, and she didn't want my help.
Okay, whatever.
But when her discount agent sold her house for $20,000 less than the appraised value, I got a phone call.
What do I do?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. How do I fix this? I'm like, you can't.
You can't.
You don't.
Nope.
Like, you're too far into the process.
Yeah.
But I honestly think grit is the answer, and just understand that you're getting into an industry with an extremely high turnover rate, and it's a high turnover rate for a reason. And it's just because it takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Lindsay, thank you. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for sharing about your family, your experiences, and hopefully the audience gets some, I got some great points. So hopefully they get some great points too, and we can move on. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.